Hello, by names of Nabasa Naume. I'm a student from Southern New Hampshire through Kepler program. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in the art of communication with a concentration in business. I'm here to present my findings from research. I was working in a topic called the state's contribution of cultural competence towards business growth. The following is the outline or thing that will be included in my research. There is the motivation, problem statement, hypothesis and objective, population, sample size and sample strategy, presentation of the key findings, and the problem identified and practical solution, and the contribution of skills acquired to the research process, together with the research conclusion and the recommendation, followed by the reference. The motivation of my research was first the culture. Personally, culture is valuable and interesting to me, so it was worthy finding more about it, and I needed to learn more about cultural diversity that is difference in cultures, and I also needed to apply the knowledge and skills I learned in doing my past project modules and everything I did during this degree program. And I also needed to learn and know different opinions and views about multicultural and intercultural organizations or environments. I also need to learn about the connectivity between business and cultural competence as I worked as I did research in certain organizations. So to start, and the problem statement identified was there is a low diversity management in Rwanda, and there is lack of cultural competence leading to low development and growth in organizations in Rwanda, and there is use of one language and professional beliefs or actions that is a barrier or uncomfortable for different groups of people. And other things identified, problems identified, was that Rwanda has approved the Convention of the Security and Promotion of Diversity in Cultural Expression, though organizations haven't yet applied this approval of the government. And the Ministry of Culture has revised the cultural policy in order to adapt and integrate in new realities of fast-growing creative industries. The cultural policy of Rwanda seeks to include public, private, and stakeholders. All these rules said above and approved by the country will be adopted in public, private, and stakeholders in order for Rwandan organizations to grow and from the creativity of interculture or working with different people and in different countries. Another element was the hypothesis I used through this research. Was the hypothesis stated the cultural competence in organization leads to organizational growth and branding. Cultural competence in organization leads to organizational growth and branding. That is the importance of cultural competence generally. And I identified also the general objective and specific objective. The general objective stated to determine the contribution of cultural competence towards business growth and branding. And the specific objective I used was to assess the significance of cultural competence to business daily activities, to identify the challenges faced by intercultural organizations in their daily activities, and to discuss how cultural competence has resulted to business growth, to investigate how cultural competence has led to individual development. And the population, the sample size, and the sampling strategy that I used during this research process. First of all, my study area was Kigali City, Remera, and in the organization called Global Grassroots, which is an intercultural organization. And I used, that organization consists of people, the population of 50 people, and the sample size, the people I managed to reach to were 44 people. And I used a different sampling strategy, which is the simple random sampling, where I randomly chose people to be included in my research without considering any factor or any characteristics, and they all had equal chances. And stratified sampling, where I divided people in different categories, and that includes the staff and the beneficiaries, people benefiting from this organization. So the findings from my research include, they are graded in terms of the objectives, the research objectives I said above, which is the significance of cultural competence in Rwanda. This graph on the left side simply shows that this organization has different kinds of people operating with it, all working with it. That's Rwandans, Ugandans, Congolese, and Burundians. And the graph shows that most people are Rwandans and followed by Ugandans. And the graph on the right side shows asks the question like, how often do you associate with people from different backgrounds in your daily activities? Many people said often, and others said very often, and the least people were the people who could not associate with, who could not meet people in their daily activities, who said not often. Most people, this graph shows that most people in this organization meet people from different backgrounds or cultures very often, and others often. That means like there is need of cultural competence, a significance of cultural competence for these people to keep operating and operate effectively with efficiency. Continuation, I also identified the challenges faced by intercultural organization. The challenges identified here were language barrier, different communication styles, different approaches towards completing tasks, and different attitudes towards conflicts, together with different ways of conceiving information. And the challenges identified on the graph on the right-hand side shows that like how can lack of cultural competence hinder organization growth and branding? Lack of cultural competence hinders communication. That's the first point. It leads to low efficiency and effectiveness, increased misunderstandings, increased bias. All these are the effects of not being culturally competent in the workplace or in the place where you meet people from different backgrounds. To continue on the contribution of cultural competence to business growth. Here I asked, do you have any experience working with individuals with different backgrounds in organizations? Many people said yes, and the least people said no, and others maybe. But this shows that most people here in this organization have some experience working with this intercultural organization or working with people of different backgrounds. And the graph on the right-hand side identifies the contribution of organization or businesses of cultural competence towards organization or businesses. And it identifies it like being cultural competence is as communication, and the communication which is effective. It is as flexible and friendly interaction within people from different backgrounds, and improves productivity when you're working in the intercultural workplace or organization. It also benefits customers. Customers or beneficiaries are given proper services and effective services, and it prevents intercultural misunderstandings. Most people say that it contributes to a flexible and friendly interactions with customers or with beneficiaries. And the following finding from my research, which is the last on the data findings, it is contribution of cultural competence to the individual development. This is how being cultural competence has helped as an individual to help to contribute to their development as individuals. Many people say it leads to easy and friendly communication. And others say it improves efficiency and effectiveness at work. Others say it prevents intercultural misunderstandings. It also helps you access different opportunities. You're capable for different opportunities. And the problem identified here, I listed different problem that I got from research: language barrier, different communication styles, different approaches to task completion, different attitudes towards conflict, different ways of conceiving information. As you can see, all these problems or negative effects are all based on communication. So the problem identified here was specifically poor communication due to lack of cultural competence. In case there is lack of cultural competence, there is poor communication. As you can see, all people had a problem of communication. That is poor communication. And the practical solution for this problem was providing trainings to develop intercultural sensitivity and appreciation for diversity. This is when you recruit new staff or any in an organization, you have to first orient them about the mission and vision, behavior and goals, and how your organization work based on being culture, appreciating diversity, and also intercultural sensitivity trainings, helping them be able to understand all different cultures, or be sensitive and respect cultures. And also the managers should be following up after the trainings for them to know how the trainings were effective to their workers. And this is how the skills I had that contributed to the research process. Research goals helped me to be able to analyze and interpret data from my research. The goal I worked on, which is called communication across culture goal, helped me to understand cultural variables in communication. That includes terms used in communication. And communication skills helped me to design surveys, emails, and listen, observe, and ask clarifying questions to people I was conducting research with. And technology skills helped me to design research survey and present my research report by use of Microsoft Word and Excel, together with a PowerPoint. And the professional skills help me to ask proper questions, make professional survey, and meet deadlines, design professional research paper. Last but not least, the recommendation from my research, I recommended random organizations and businesses, all other different organizations and individuals. I recommend random organization and business to carry out capacity building to develop intercultural sensitivity and appreciation of diversity for their workers. And I recommend individuals to learn to appreciate diversity and learn different languages, knowledge, and new skills for them to be adaptable in every environment they reach. And the conclusion was, organizations in Rwanda have become intercultural and multicultural, and the staff can't function effectively. Benefactors can't receive services without cultural competence, and this hinders organizational growth and branding. And research proves that the cultural competence also contributes to individual growth and branding. Most challenges are based on communication, but poor communication. So the problem identified was poor communication. The development of intercultural sensitivity and appreciation of diversity through trainings was the solution for my problem identified. So this is the end of my presenting my data, and here are the references or resources where I got my research. Thank you.